From a bunny fighting off a snake that tried to kill its young to the most bad bud honey badger this side of the equator, you gotta see these to believe them. Secretary Bird versus King Cobra. With a length of up to 5.5 meters, the King Cobra is the world's longest venomous snake. It's recognized by its hood, which expands when the snake feels threatened and is native to India, Southeast Asia, and the Philippines. King cobras are known for their potent neurotoxic venom and primarily eat other snakes, hence the genus name Ophiophagus, which means snake eater. Although king cobra is a bit of a bad bud that's semi-cannibalistic, they don't always rule supreme. The secretary bird is as beautiful as the snake is creepy. We actually had a king cobra that dared to lift its head with a secretary bird in its vicinity. That was a big mistake because the secretary bird is also a really cool guy. They look for snakes and then they kick them to death and devour them whole. The cobra still tries to look intimidating, but the secretary bird was having none of it. With a battery of kicks, it sends the cobra to that great snake down in the sky and then sends the snake into its belly. Lesson learned. Permanently. Gangsta honey badger versus puff adder. Puff adders are one of the most venomous snakes in Africa. Their venom's not only deadly enough to kill a man, but they have the fastest strike in the world of snakes. For instance, a puff adder can strike a balloon twice before it's actually burst. The honey badger is known as one of Africa's most stubborn and tenacious animals. Once they decide to do something, they go through with it no matter what their opponents may look like. Here, a honey badger comes upon a puff adder eating a gerbil. Not only does the honey badger take the gerbil away from the deadly snake, after eating that small meal, he simply decides that the puff adder is also on his menu. He dispatches the snake and starts eating it from its head, but the snake is already striked. Before long, the honey badger collapses from a bite he obtained to his right cheek. He loses consciousness and the game seems lost. However, all isn't lost. After about 2 hours, the honey badger just kinda wakes up again, looks around, and like the true gentleman he is, just keeps eating his meal. After that, he just wanders off. Tough house cat versus snake. I know what you're thinking, does a house cat really have a chance against a snake? Well, really, it kinda depends on the snake itself. And on top of that, house cats may lay in the sun all day or just do things that make them seem silly, but they're also family to the wild cats we find in nature. Some of that instinct is still there. In this clip, the house cat approaches a snake lying curled up on the road. It's probably just inquisitive. The snake, however, sees this as threatening and makes the mistake of striking. The cat retaliates by knocking against the head with its paw. The snake doesn't back down and neither does Mr. Fluffball here. The snake doesn't learn its lesson and keeps trying to strike, and each time the cat counters with a punch. At one point, the snake attempts one strike too many, and the cat easily dodges the strike and makes his first bite. It's not long before Mr. Fluffball grabs the snake behind its head and runs off with it. I think you can figure out what happens next. Brave dogs versus King Cobra. Dogs are man's best friend, and King Cobra's, well, there's no one's friend, really. In this clip, 2 brave dogs have cornered a king cobra, and by now you probably just know how dangerous that can be. As the largest venomous snakes in the world, they pack a punch. The cobra's raised up and ready to strike. The dogs, however, are pretty smart. One distracts the snake and the other strikes from behind. They're working with a plan to wear the snake out. The snake keeps striking when the other dog bites him. Snake is probably going to lose this fight. People nearby are watching this and commenting. The dogs play the long game, and the snake is becoming tired and will almost definitely lose this fight. At one point, the man nearby also realizes this, and the snake is going to die, so he intervenes and probably saves the cobra's life. I imagine the other snakes are never going to allow this cobra to live it up. In the meantime, I imagine that these dogs are going to be treated like heroes. Eagle attack. Nothing as dangerous as a mother looking after her young. Even when the prey is as dangerous as the venomous banded sea snake, a mother's instinct is to feed her offspring and can drive her to extreme lengths. The venom of this snake is strong enough to kill a scuba diver, making it unappealing prey for most underwater predators. The real danger to these snakes, however, comes from above. The white-bellied sea eagle, a bird with sharp talons and keen vision, is a predator with young to feed, and the eagle is on the prowl, and the sea snakes are a favorite meal. The eagle has perfected the snatch and grab, swooping down to capture the snake. This is because the snake came up to breathe, making it a very easy target, and it gets snatched as a result. The snake fights back as the eagle carries it away, and it can even bite in midair, and if it manages to inject its venom, it will kill its captor. Unfortunately for the snake, its efforts come too late, especially when it's brought to a hungry eaglet in the nest. This is one snake who met its match. Angry bunny versus snake. I know what you're thinking, the bunny stands no chance. Bunnies are so fluffy and they have such cute noses, how could I even mention that here? Well, you ever seen an angry one? This mother bunny comes home to find a snake busy suffocating her kids. It's not pretty, but it's part of nature. Our first thoughts might be for the mother to run and cut her losses, but this bunny is only starting. She starts to attack the snake, who's about to get the surprise of his life. Mama Bunny starts to launch kicking combos against the confused reptile. The snake tries to slither off, but the bunny goes after it again and again. This time, the mother rabbit delivers a 100 kick combo in only a few seconds. The snake begins to get more anxious in his efforts to get away. At one point, the bunny grabs and shakes the snake violently. The snake's in a complete panic now and only wants to leave the scene of the crime. In the end, definite win for Cute and Cuddly, and a loss for Slithery and Scaly. Well done, Mother. Mother Hen versus King Cobra. Speaking of mothers, as just seen, mothers can get nasty when their young are endangered. No, a hen is only a chicken, and we call people who are cowards chicken. So does that mean they're going to abandon their young to protect themselves? Not necessarily. Over here we have a mother taking care of her chicks. They're bothering nobody when a slimy visitor slithers by and decides to harass them. The king cobra is more of a match for the chicken, but she gives him a piece of her mind and seems to have left. The mother, however, knows he's going to be back. When our dangerous customer does return, the mother goes at him full throttle. At first it seems ineffective as the cobra almost ignores her. The mother, though, keeps at it. Now Mr. Cobra realizes that this isn't going to be so easy. The mother hen's coming at him with everything. At last, the scary snake's the one running scared. It's trying to get away as the mother keeps going at it. In the meantime, the chicks get away, and it looks like there's going to be no Chick-fil-A for this snake today. Protective cat versus snake. Earlier we saw a cat take on a snake, but that snake was much smaller than this one, and there was no adorable kittens in the mix. We all want the mother cat to win in this case. Once again, we see there are a few things as dangerous as a mother defending her children. This was demonstrated when a full-grown python approached a cave inhabited by a mother cat and her kittens. Initially, the cat roared several times to warn the snake away, and the mother cat sprang into action when the python ignored those warnings and entered the cave. Big mistake. As she emerged from the cave, she struck the snake in the face with a series of quick strikes, forcing it to flee. The snake, undeterred, attempted to re-enter the cave from above, but the cat was prepared. She grabbed the snake's head and clawed at it furiously. Overwhelmed and outmatched, the snake finally decided to flee, escaping the mother cat's fierce protective instincts. Once again, cuteness wins out over being slimy and scaly. Another well-won fight. Speedy Mongoose versus Black Mamba. Few animals in the world seem as outmatched as the mongoose. Looks like a weasel until you look closer and see its razor-sharp teeth. The mongoose is not very big, but they don't stand back for snakes, even ones as dangerous as the black mamba. Somewhere in Africa, a mongoose comes face to face with this scary snake. At first, the two circle and the mongoose looks for an opening to kill. The mamba strikes a few times, but the mongoose has lightning-fast reflexes, and it manages to avoid every single strike. The mongoose strikes, grabbing hold of the snake and shaking violently. It lets go for a moment to see what the snake is going to do next, and the snake is however disoriented and stunned. The mongoose sees another opportunity and grabs the black mamba again. This time it really stuns the black mamba. By now the mongoose has the initiative and it continues to attack until it's killed the snake. Now it's ensured supper as well. Never mess with a mongoose if you're a snake. Super rat versus snake. This is another one of those David versus Goliath fights where what you expected doesn't quite happen. Rats are widely regarded as the ideal prey for snakes and are frequently used by pet owners to feed their captive serpents. In this case, when a snake went after a baby rat, it was met with unexpected and fierce resistance from the rat's mother. The snake, having caught the baby rat in its mouth, was about to flee with its prey. The mother rat, on the other hand, was not about to let her offspring go without a fight. She sprang into action, biting the snake on the tail and refusing to let go. The snake was startled by the sudden and aggressive response. In an unexpected turn of events, the snake immediately dropped the baby rat and fled. It couldn't get out of there fast enough, and the mother rat was having none of it and even followed the snake into the bush. At first it seemed like the baby rat was done for, but after a moment or two the little one starts to move and then joins the mother as they run off together. Somewhere there's an embarrassed snake licking its wounds and going hungry tonight. Thank you all for watching, see you all next time.